Hi, in this video we will learn how to build REST API using Flask. If you're not familiar with Flask, it's a micro framework which is written in Python. Flask is simple and easy to get started with. So let's get started building our API. I already created a new project which I called flask-rest-api. By the way, all of my code will be in GitHub, so no worry if you miss something. In addition to Flask, we will use a couple of extra packages which will allow us to build our REST API. We're gonna use SQLAlchemy, which is object relational mapping. Simply, it's a lawyer which allows us to interact with SQL without writing manual queries and things like that. Also, we're gonna use Marshmallow for the serialization. And one more thing, we're gonna use POSTman to make requests to our API and get the results back. I already have the virtual environment created and activated, so I'm ready to get started coding. Of course, I need to have Python installed to start. To check which version of Python do I have, I should write python --version. Okay, I have Python 3.7.4. Python comes with package manager called pip. If you work with Python 3, you should use the pip 3. Now let's install libraries that we need. Install flask-sqlalchemy, flask-marshmallow, and also I think we need the package that integrates Marshmallow and SQLAlchemy. I think it's called Marshmallow SQLAlchemy. And if I didn't any mistake, pip will install all of these packages. Next step, we will import packages. First would be Flask. Also, you will need request and JSONify to make JSON pretty. Next one would be flask-sqlalchemy. And the last one would be Marshmallow. Now let's init our application. Connect our database. Specify that the database would be SQLite. And we can specify the path which would be started from the base directory. So for that, let's import the OS package. the name of our database would be books SQLite. Initialize our database. And Marshmallow. And now let's switch to create the classes for our database. And first one would be the books class. Book. And book will have the ID, db column, this field would be the primary key, and next one will be the name, db.column, it would be string. We can specify the length of our string, it would be 200 characters, for example. And description. db.column. And description would be longer, for example, 400 characters. Okay, the book class is ready. Let's switch to the next one. For example, let's switch to the specifying the schema for this class. And next step would be initialize the schema. Once schema is ready, we can switch to writing the roots. We will start from writing the first one. It would be post if we need to add one more book to our bookstore. The root would be book. And by default method is get, but we need post to add the book, so we will specify method here, post. the fields we will get from the request. So let's read what would come from request data equal request.json, and let's receive the field that we need. It would be the name and the description. So name equal request data name and description equal request data description. Let's initialize new book. Add the values to the session. db session dot add and also let's return something to understand that the data is added to the database. Return added. Okay, the endpoint is ready, but one thing that is missing is that we need to initialize the values into our class. Def init will receive here the name and description. And self.name equal name, self.description equal description. Okay, first row is finished, and now we can run our application and test it in POSTman. One more thing that is missing is the starting point of our application. Let's do that. app.run and let's run in debug mode. Debug equal true. Okay, next step would be to create our database, and to do that we should go into the Python 3 in our case, Python 3, and then import our DB from app, import DB. Basically we are importing DB from app file, and then we should create our tables. Create all before running our application. Okay, the tables are creating, and now we can run the application. Okay, I have address already in use, so I will specify the port in which the application would run because the default one is already occupied. So port equal 3020, for example. Let's try one more time. Okay, As you see, our application is running on this board. And let's go to the POSTman. And specify the endpoint that we already created in Python. So it will be localhost port and book. And in body in JSON, we should specify the JSON that we want to add to our database. And first field would be the name. For example, book 1, and description. Let's try it. And okay, as you see, we send the post with the body which contains two fields, name and description, and we have the result back, which is added. It means that we already added the data in our database using our role that we specified previously. As a next step, to see if we added it, let's add one more book. Book 2, for example, and description for book 2. And also book 3. Okay, we have 3 books added, and now let's write one more row to get the results back from our database. Get book. Our method would be get. And we need all books. Result. And let's return the disunified result. Okay, let's reload our application and return back to the POSTman. The endpoint would be get and book. I will duplicate my tab, change the post to the get, book, and send. Okay, I made a mistake. It should be not book schema, but book schema, because here we specified the many true, which means we will get many results. So if I change that here, it should work. It works. And here you can see that we have 3 books, book 1, book 2, and book 3, and there are additional fields like ID and description. next route would be to get the result for only one book using the book ID. For example, book ID 2 for book number 2. Let's write this route. Method would be get book by ID, and we will send the ID of the book that we need. So here would be the ID, and also we specified here in the URL the ID. So book to be session result equal book schema, and here we will use the book schema because we only need one result to be returned. Dump book and return the JSONified result. Return JSONify result. Okay, let's try what we will get in POSTman. I'm reloading the application and open the POSTman. Duplicate the tab. Get book. For example, book 1. Book 1 would be this one. So I send the ID here and want to get the result. Oh, it works. So we have the information about the book 1. Let's try book 2. Also works. And book 3. It also works. Okay, I think that's it for today. In the next videos we will write more routes to have ability to get more results, delete the row from the database using the POSTman. So see you in the next video. Thank you for your attention today.